Hi, this is Professor Cruz Medina, and one of the questions that I've gotten a lot from students is what makes what is a scholarly or peer-reviewed source? This comes up all the time when we're doing research, and in papers, some professors will ask for scholarly or peer-reviewed sources, and sometimes that's a little unclear. One way to be sure and to separate these definitions is to think about scholarly or the peer-reviewed compared with popular sources. So one of the major distinctions when we think about scholarly is they can be these articles or these academic books, and most of these are published by places like university presses or, again, scholarly journals that often are related to either academics, professors at a given university or housed in a particular university, compared with popular sources, which tend to be everything from your newspapers to magazines or even websites. And they can be credible, certainly, like CNN or whatever news organizations that you're used to. But one of the big differences, too, is who is actually doing the writing and the work here. So for a popular source, it actually tends to be little folks like journalists or reporters or bloggers, where at a university press or a scholarly journal, they tend to be experts or researchers like professors who have been doing this kind of work, and it goes through a different process where the person who writes the paper sends it to an editor at one of these presses, and then the editor will send it out for what's called peer review, and they'll send it to another couple experts in the field who will give feedback, and then they'll either say yes or no to publication, depending on how credible and how relevant they think this scholarly material is. So, on the other side, journalists will often just write and have an editor who says yay or nay. But oftentimes the editor is more concerned with issues of libel, whether or not the newspaper or magazine or website could be sued for whatever information that's printed there. Or if it's not libel, they're concerned about whether or not anything that's written will affect the advertiser. So most of the time, too, the popular sources are concerned about advertisers, where in the university and the scholarly and the peer-reviewed sources, they're more related to, again, sort of the university or considering issues like conflict of interest and things like that. So there's less bias is what they're trying to avoid in this whole process. And so I think something else to consider, again, is the purpose. And the purpose here of the scholarly source is to share this generalizable information, this knowledge. They want to share it with many folks as they can. And in the same way, these peer reviewers want to make sure that the scholarly articles and books that they recommend are of the highest quality. So again, to compare that with the popular sources, much more it has to do with ads and the revenue. And something to consider is where these sources can be found. More often than not, you find the scholarly or the peer-reviewed sources in your library databases of your university, whereas most of these popular sources can be found in places that are like online and easily accessible. We want to think about the purposes here because that also helps us identify the potential bias and the process through which this information has come to publication. I hope that helps. Thank you.